when you start living your life on something is either of God or it's of the enemy. Like I'm very legalistic in my approach
Oh
to
yeah.
things, but I feel like because I have to be, because if I feel like there's a gray area in anything, then it's very difficult for me to then follow and like understand what my path is. Because I feel like for me, since I knew that there were always other like influences in my life, like understanding if something is of God or if this is like a temptation type of spirit, like it's hard for me to differentiate.
Yep.
So, yeah, leading from there's either the clean spirit, God, or there's something of the enemy that's influencing you. I feel like it's so important, but it's very
Yeah.
difficult to follow because then it's like you try to justify things to make them acceptable or okay, but then that's almost like making your own religion, picking and choosing what scripture you want to follow.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true. I love that you said that because that really loops back to, where we started with why you have strong and strict beliefs with these things.
Hmm.
Like that gray area is not a comfortable place to be. And
Yeah.
and I know that we serve a God, he's not the God of confusion. Like
Hmm.
he gives us his word, he gives us truth so that we can be rooted on a firm foundation and not be in
Yeah.
these questions. But that doesn't mean, unfortunately, not everything is black and white either, though, because even within, like, for example, my women's small group, I have all
Yeah.
these Christian women around me, but we all have different perspectives on some things, and I don't like that place at all. Like, I want to know that I know, you know. So
Yeah.
that's hard. That's a hard place to be. So I can
And
see
then
why being more legalistic, like that, just brings you more
mhm.
peace because it's like, okay, it's this or it's that. Done. No conversation.
Yeah, I feel like though, maybe now that you're talking about that, maybe it's still like a sense of control that I'm not fully surrendering to because like that's still a sense of, okay, well, it's either this or that. Like I'm controlling what I'm still going to believe,
Mm.
which I didn't think about until right now. So, I mean, ultimately, like Jesus is going to be somebody who is filled with grace, and that's how I'm supposed to live my life. So, I think though that you're constantly seeking God out. So, that's something that you're always going to be asking.
Something that came to my mind about how when I was first saved from the New Age, I was also a lot more legalistic than maybe I am right now. I was like extra because, like you said, I had to be. This was the
Yeah.
only thing that I could ensure would keep me protected. And after encountering the demonic, seeing the demonic, and realizing that you had been so deceived, being strict with yourself and what you'll go into and what you won't, it's the only thing that can keep you protected. It's that sense of control as we were talking about.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of years, I can't tell you, I can't even quite put it into words.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about this, but I can't tell you how many times I've been humbled in what I thought or how I was sharing it.
Hmm.
Where if I've, like, shared something in an extreme way, like, I don't know, like, I've noticed sometimes it does push people away, and sometimes that's the right people, but sometimes it can,
Yeah.
like, scare people away that might otherwise hear what you were gonna say if maybe for me, if I was more, like, gentle in how I shared it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still processing through that. Once again, it's weird to share the things vocally, and, like, even on a podcast right now that you're still
Hmm.
working through.
Yeah.
But I know that's one thing. It's like when Jesus was on earth and the Pharisees had no idea that God was among them because they
Hmm.
thought that they knew it was this. If it's not in our Torah, in our book, then it's not.
Yeah.
But yet Jesus was standing right there in the flesh. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like it's a tricky area of like still being humble and open and knowing that God can do anything and surprise us and we have no idea really. Like we know
Yeah.
only this.
Yes, that's good. I have two things on that. Quickly before I forget, the vantage point of God, I had to like talk myself into this. Like we know what we can see around us, right? Like that's our comprehension of things.
Mm,
God's vantage point knows my thoughts, whoever's thoughts, like and their path. So his vantage point is so much better that if we're going to trust somebody, I'd rather put my bet on God versus
mm,
what am capable of doing.
yeah.
But to talk about that, that's a good point in terms of, I don't know, this is almost like a terrible like way to think of it, but I feel like I was so addicted to my lifestyle previously that it's like now I have to be so strict because I don't want to fall into that temptation. But
Yes.
like with anything, as you are able to, even sharing your testimony, the more that you do it, the more that you are living through that, like it gets easier and easier.